part of the team. I'm super excited to be here today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mackenzie. I am a Detroit Lions cheerleader. I just finished up my 5th season and just very honored to be here today. Excited to speak with you all.
Good morning. My name is Damani Oliver. And, I'm a little nervous to be here because there's a whole bunch of people watching me. But, I'm gonna get through it.
Good morning. My name is Juliana Hosey. I'm an 8th grader here, and like Damani, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also excited.
Well, we are so excited to have both of you. They are our student panelists today. We're so excited to have them as well as the rest of our panel. But now we're going to actually open it up to you guys out here in the audience. So first question, what are some practical things that we can do to get our bodies in shape? Raise hands. Yeah, right here in the front.
Have like a healthy mindset.
Have a healthy mindset. I love that. Okay, what about you?
Eating healthy food.
Eating healthy foods. Yes, you. Yep. Work out. Obviously, makes a ton of sense. All right, next question. What about some practical things that we can do for our mental health? Yes.
We could seek therapists for help. So like if we're having mental issues.
Seek help, maybe with a therapist. Yes.
Taking time for yourself, like recollect through what last.
Love that. Taking time for yourself, having that moment. And then what about you with the blue sleeves? Get enough sleep. Sleep is really important, you guys. That is definitely important for our mental health. Okay, so here's the thing. Mental health is made up of a lot of different things. It influences how we feel and how we act. And those are really, really important components to our life. So that's why it is so important to have this conversation and part of your character playbook wellness portion. So Dr. Lamptey, I will kick it off to you. First question for the panel, why is it important to talk about mental health?
So the reason I think it's really important that we talk about mental health is because mental health is everything that we are. So just like we all have physical health, we all have mental health. And a lot of times we don't talk about mental health until we're having a problem with our mental health. So I think it's important to talk about mental health because it's literally everything that you do. It's how you do everything. And so I think it's the core. And so that's one of if you don't prioritize your mental health, then nothing else functions well.
Khalil, I know as part of the NFL, every December, late winter, they do a thing called My Cause, My Cleats, where players are allowed to pick a cause that's really important to them. And for Khalil, it was mental health that you chose to design your cleats that you wore pregame and during the game to honor that. So why is having that kind of conversation important to you?
I think it's very important just because, there's a lot of people that play sports and they always think it's physical when majority of the time it's mental. I'm about maybe 5'9" on a good day after a stretch. And there's dudes like running backs that are 6 foot or they're 207 pounds. I have to mentally psych myself into tackling him or else, I'm not going to make the play. So it's just thinking of it that way just really helps.
Allison, what about you?
I personally am a dance instructor and I teach children from ages 2 all the way to the collegiate level that are 21, 22, becoming young adults and transforming their lives and trying to figure out what they want to do later in life, as I'm sure a lot of you sometimes may think about. And so it's very important to me to make sure I'm being a positive role model for all of my students. And I'm sure as your teachers, and maybe you all do extracurricular activities with coaches and mentors. So I think it's very important just to be have a positive outlook on the things that you guys are doing at school, after school, just to set you all up for success.
Let's hear from our students right now. So Damani, what is an example of something that might affect mental health?
An example that maybe can affect mental health is a situation that happened and you got trauma or and you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to get judged or nothing, but sometimes you gotta let it out so you won't just crash or something bad happen.
Juliana, what do you think can impact your mental health in a positive way?
A big part of that is probably the people that you're around and everything. Like if you're around people that are constantly uplifting your mood and stuff like that, that you can go to and talk to, you're going to be in a generally better mood than if you were around people that are always constantly bringing you down and have negative things to say.
Absolutely. That support system, whether it's your friends, your family, those positive people around you, is super, super important. So Tim, next question goes to you. Former player, So obviously, mindset, positive mindset, self-talk, kind of pumping yourself up like on a game day with all of that. What has your experience been like navigating through that?
I was gonna let Doc answer that.
You have to come up with your own answer this time.
Navigating that, can you repeat the question, please? Just
Positive, having a positive mindset and self-talk in terms of maybe with your prior experience of playing, now what you do with the NFLPA, motivating players as well.
I think one thing that I've taken from the game is just we as athletes have allowed ourselves to psych our own selves up, motivate ourselves, and so most athletes become leaders in that role, and so it's an easy transition when you're trying to take another player. One of your colleagues, because it's a brotherhood, and so you feel like entitled to make sure that that person feels well, that you're close, and so being able to just pump, hype, just make that person feel good about who they are, along with making yourself feel good. I think that's what has gotten me to be in the positions that I am today, and be in the leadership role, because even the pride that Detroit Lions have put together, it's just about being able to zone in and care, make the former players feel like that they still mean something, that they're still involved. And so just all of the organizations that I'm involved in, it really does come to the nucleus of just caring about your brother, making sure that you love them, and just make sure that you guys remain whole, oneness.
So Khalil, getting to you and talking about current players, if you will, take us inside the huddle, like a pregame huddle when you guys are just getting hyped up, ready to go out there on Ford Field. What is that positive mindset like, and just how important is it to have before you get into a game environment?
I think it's very important before getting into a game, because you have to go in there with the mentality of you're going to win every single time. It's you versus that person across from you. When you're 1-11 battle and you're just competing for the person that's next to you. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important to have that that talk before the huddle, during the huddle, pre-snap, all that, just to motivate yourself to do it.
How many dancers do we have out here in the crowd? Dancers, cheerleaders, raise hands. I'm a former one too. Mackenzie, maybe let's give some of our girls and dancers out here just some advice in terms of what it's like before you go out on stage or before you have a performance, maybe that positive mindset that you can have.
Yes, I know that a lot of people can get some nerves going into a big performance. For us, it's definitely our game days. We get very nervous sometimes, but it's important to switch that mindset and just do a lot of positive self-talk, going out there saying, we're gonna crush it, we're not going to mess up, we're gonna just perform with our hearts and really just enjoy the time that we have doing that performance, whether it's a recital, a competition, a game day. Because when you are constantly just negative self-talking in your head, it does get to you and it can impact your performance. So just staying really positive, talking to your teammates, classmates, super important.
Dr. Nalampty, in terms of maybe that mindset of getting out of your head, what's maybe a tip that you might have in order for maybe our students to kind of channel that?
One of the things that I like to remind folks is that the feeling of nervousness and the feeling of excitement are the exact same feelings. The difference is in how you interpret it, right? So when it's nervous and anxious, you're thinking, okay, I don't want to mess up. You're thinking more negatively. When you're excited, you're thinking, this is an opportunity. I'm prepared. I'm ready. And so it's really understanding how you're feeling internally, and instead of interpreting it as a negative thing, being able to actually think about it from a positive perspective.
I love that. And I'm kind of feeling both of those emotions right now too, just in front of all of you. All right, let's hear from our students right now. So when we think of self-talk, as we have heard, it's really easy to maybe think in negative terms, but maybe what are some positive examples of self-talk? Juliana, you can start.
Oh, I'm sorry. Positive examples of self-talk, what can include anything? If you just not believe, but if you tell yourself that you can do something, you're way more likely to be able to do that. Was it Henry Ford that said, whether you think you can or you think you can, you're right. Just that mindset is always going to get you far.
What about you, Damani?
For example, like, cause I play basketball, so like, when I'm like working out or in the gym. Some positive self-talk could be like if I'm missing a couple shots and I shoot the next shot, my head gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this shot, or yeah.
You make that shot? Yeah, see, positive self-talk, it works. I actually wear a little bracelet on my wrist that says she believed she could, so she did, which is my sort of just daily mantra of positive self-talk. And whenever I'm feeling kind of down or maybe negative or trying to get out of my own head, as we talked about, I just kind of look down and go, okay, yeah, I believe I can do it. I got it. All right, so next question. It deals with strategies that we might use to help with our mental health and maybe some stressful situations. And we have a lot of varying different people up here who have encountered different stressful situations. So Khalil, I'll start with you. Playing in front of tens of thousands, nearly 100,000 fans on Sundays in the fall. How the heck do you deal with that?
I mean, that's a good question. How do I deal with that? I try to zone the fans out, especially when we're in an away game. I just try to think of, what do I have the next play? What most likely are they going to run? Something like that. But yeah, I try not to get to my head, because if you start thinking of it that way of, oh, everybody's watching me right now, then you're going to get inside of your own head, and then this next play isn't going to be the right play because maybe you heard it wrong or this and that. You just start psyching yourself out. So I kind of just zone in on my job at the time.
Allison, what about you?
Our role as Detroit Lions cheerleaders, I feel like, is just a little bit different, because we are there not only to cheer on our team, but also provide support for all of the fans. So our job is to make sure that we're mentally and physically prepared before games. So if I'm practicing and I'm prepared, I know my choreography, then I'm going to feel that much better going into a game day. And then also just providing positive support to my teammates, and my teammates providing positive support to me will lead us all to success. And then the fans will be cheering extra loud so that we win all those games and ultimately be successful for everybody.
Tim, when it comes to your playing days, what is a strategy, I guess I should say, that you use to maybe navigate through a stressful situation? Whether it was maybe you had a down game, maybe you guys lost a game and you're feeling kind of down. Maybe what's a strategy that you use to help you get out of that?
So the one thing that I remember doing was trying to forget the game. So if it was a game that we lost, it really depends on your coaches. And so if you had coaches who were the type of coaches that would mentally, bring you back, that would look at that game or look at that play and say, hey, let's move forward. I kind of adapted that analogy. And so what I would do is just, if it was a bad play, then I'd have to remember that there's another play that's coming. So even in life, if you make mistakes, then you have an opportunity to make another. You can change that. And I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking, and I'm going off script, and I was listening to my brother right here. I am never nervous, but I'm like, why am I so nervous? But I think because mental health, it's almost like it's taboo. And so I'm glad that we're making an awareness, because I'm saying I speak in front of it, and I'm like, why in the heaven am I so nervous? So I said that to say that what we're doing here to expose and to bring out, it's okay. It's okay to talk about it. So to answer your question is, I just kind of talk myself out of it. I got to transition. You got to get back up. You got to bounce back. You just got to move forward.
So you gave such a great answer that I'm going to let you keep that mic for a second, come back to you. You mentioned coaches, talking to coaches, having coaches. Juliana had mentioned earlier a support system that you surround yourself with. How important is it to find those people, maybe obviously in your profession, who you can talk to, who when you're having a stressful situation, you can talk to them and like talk it out with them?
So let me say that it is all types of coaches.
There are many.
There are many types of coaches. And you will be blessed finding that one coach who really cares. There's coaches that, and you'll know that coach, because I've had coaches that would always get on me, but I realized the reason why they got on me is because they wanted the best out of you. They want, even teachers, and parents, they want the best out of you. And so the coaches that I really was really attracted to was those who I can sense. And you listen, we all have that sense. You know the coach that really doesn't care about you, but you also know that coach that's going to push you to the point where you're gonna be the best that you can be. And so I love when I see coaches even professional level, down to the Pee Wee level. I love the coaches that are invested, that are truly invested.
Khalil, I personally, when I'm feeling kind of down, enjoy talking to friends or family members, or maybe a mentor if it's something that's kind of bothering me in my work environment. Who's maybe someone that you talk to in order to kind of talk things out? Maybe a mentor or someone like that.
So they do have a therapist / psychologist on hand at the facility that you can talk to at any time.
Mhm.
And especially like on, on my worst days, I'll probably go there, just talk it out. It don't even have to be about exactly what's going on. It's just to talk to somebody and she's there to listen. Or I'll go to my best friend, or I'll go to my brother. Because most likely either my brother or my dad or my mom, one of them has either been through what I'm going through, felt this emotion, and they're able to help me through it instead of just, staying silent and doing it by myself. I can talk to them, and they can either guide me in a way, in a direction.
Lampy, can you speak to the importance of having those people that you can talk to and having those healthy outlets of conversation?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important to keep in mind that that when you're silent, that's where negative things can grow, right? And making sure that you have that support, people who have your best interests at heart, which does not necessarily always mean that they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Part of it also means that they will tell you things you don't want to hear, but you know that it's for your greater good. I like to tell folks, and I tell players this all the time, this is a space, making it to the National Football League is very exciting, but it's one of those jobs where you can't survive on your own. It's such a tough culture that you have to have support. And so, and nobody makes it by themselves.
That is very true. We've heard Tim and Khalil both talk about the different resources who they have to further their NFL careers. So I'm actually going to we'll just go down the line here. We've talked about talking, if you will, as a healthy outlet to kind of balance our stress and get us out of our heads. But maybe what's something else that we like to do? I like to take Pilates classes, former dancer, like to do that. Juliana, maybe what's one thing that you like to do to help deal with that?
I'm sorry. I dance. If I can't go to dance in that moment, or if I can't get up and just dance really quick, I think about how long I have until I can go to dance.
That's okay.
Like right now, if I got super nervous, I have dance at 5:15, so it's okay.
That's great. Damani, what about you?
One thing I do, like most of the time, I go to the gym. But like if the gym closed or something, one thing that helped me get through it is music.
Do you play music or listen to music?
Listen to music.
Okay. What do you like to listen to? That's okay. You don't have to share. Go for it.
I personally find a lot of peace in going outside when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's getting sunnier out. Taking my dog on a walk is really helpful. Just to take some time, get some vitamin D from the sun, and enjoy nature for a little bit.
I will piggyback off of definitely dance is my main source of outlet of just creating a positive outlook on life, just because it is my passion and I love it so much. But also journaling has helped me a lot. Even journaling outside and getting all those vitamins in. Just about anything that will take my mind off of whatever I'm thinking about for that period of time.
I love that. Khalil, what about you?
I would say it depends. If it's physically, then I'll go do some hot yoga. And then if it's mentally, then I like to create through, I either draw it out or I'll put it to clothing. And I'll do it kind of that way.
Really quick, actually, before we get to Tim, because I want to talk about that. That's really cool. Have you always been artistic like that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was one of those guys that colored outside the lines. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough. It wasn't the type of colored outside the lines that you're thinking, so it was a little rough. You know what I'm saying? So.
That's awesome.
I used to work out, but as you can see that I left that profession. So now I just like to golf because golfing, you don't have to work out anymore. Yeah, and I just need to say that Amani, he's so doggone cool. I wish I was like that.
I know.
He's just so darn cool.
I'm like Khalil, it depends. So if I need a quick, if it's something quick, I like to sort of say, if I've got 2 minutes, there's some things that I can do, whether it's saying a prayer or listening to music, something that will change my mood. Exercise, I like to run. And so going out, getting some fresh air, and getting some exercise.
Those are awesome. All right, our last question. We have come to it. So we're gonna go again, just down the line. You can start down there. What is maybe a final piece of advice for these students that you would want them to remember from today?
So my final piece of advice would be, do not wait until there is a problem to focus on your mental wellness. Your mental wellness is something that you should be focused on every single day.
Tim, what about you?
I would say that encourage each other. Do not speak positive and make sure that when you see, even if it's not your friend, make sure that you say something positive throughout the school year.
I would say find what works for you in terms of the mental health and what can help you. Just because everybody's different, we went down the line and we had multiple different answers.
Mhm.
So find what works for you. I mean, what works for me may not work for you, but you can find something else, you know.
Stay positive, stay encouraging to one another, because it definitely will feed off of the energy of whoever's next to you, your teammates, your classmates. So just making sure to keep that positive mindset and leaning on one another when you guys need help is definitely important.
Piggybacking off of a little bit of what Allison said is lean on one another. You are not alone. There's always someone to help support you. Some days you might be that source of support for somebody else. So just make sure you're talking to your friends and your family. And hard times don't last forever.
I think that you should like try to find something that you like love doing, like, cause that's where like you can get away from all the problems that you got, you know, like, and always try to find somebody that you can talk to, whether it's your friends, family, mom, dad, grandparents, whatever, cause you know somebody out there that you can talk to.
I agree with what everybody said, but specifically Damani for right now. But in addition to find somebody here that you can talk to. Like, I know that might not always be like the easiest thing to do, especially if it's not a kid, but like find somebody here. Like right now, every time I don't know an answer, I'm looking at Ms. Neal because that's just helping me. So just find somebody here that you can talk to.
Those were all great answers, everyone. Let's hear it for our panel. Let's give it up, everyone. For our friends who are online that we will wave to right now, be sure to think of at least one thing that you guys want to remember from your time today. We want to remember just why is this conversation important, and that's because we just want to focus on our mental health, our mindset, and self-talk greatly impact it. So let's keep it positive as we learn today. Then we also learned, and we heard so many different things, that there's so many different things that we can do for our mental health. The NFL wants us to be empowered and inspired to put what we learned today into practice as we go through school, go through our extracurricular activities, all those fun things. So huge, huge, huge thank you to the NFL Foundation, the Detroit Lions, and EverFi. Thank you to Bates Academy. Give it up one more time. These two student panelists, can you guys stand up? Just want to give you guys props. Joining us online, you and your teachers are going to make the effort. Thank you for joining us today. And your host from EverFi is going to carry you on into part 2 of this assignment. It was great to see you. Thank you for joining us online, guys.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in this amazing event. So my name is Marcela Perez. I am going to be your host for this little part of the webinar. I'm going to help you get started on EverFi, on our platform, and get your students started on our amazing Understanding Mental Wellness course. So right now, if everybody can see my screen, you are going to be able to see a QR code on the screen. This is for new teachers. So if you're a teacher that hasn't been able to create your account yet, this is where you need to go first. It's EverFi/new teacher, everfi.com/new teacher. And then once you're in there, you're going to create your account. So this is very easy, very intuitive. You just choose your country, choose your school by state and province, and fill out your personal information. And then once you're in our teacher platform, you're going to be able to explore all of the courses on the Explore Course tab. So there you're going to look for the course, right? So we have these special buttons where you can filter it out. So I recommend always filtering out by grade or topic. I like to filter out by topic. So if it's understanding mental wellness, look for our health and wellness and then hit apply. Once you find it, you can look at it. You can click on the details button to learn more about it. Or you can just automatically add to your class, right? You click on the button that says add to class. So once you add it to your class, if you use Clever or if you use ClassLink, you can use your special class ID. If not, you just create your class, you choose a name, choose how many students there are, when you think you're going to start, the grade level, and finally, very important, we add the course that we're looking for if you didn't do that before. So this is only the simple steps for teachers to create your account and create your cohort. If you're creating this account, if you're creating the class and it's not with an SSO with a single sign-on, make sure that you're grabbing the class code. So after you create your class, you're going to find it under the tab that says My Classes. There's going to be a blue button that says Class Code. Make sure to grab that code. And this is, I repeat, this is only for the teachers that do not have single sign-on. So you grab that class code, and that's the code that you're going to give your students so they get started and create their accounts and get started on the course. So if there's any questions, please drop them in the chat. We have chat supporters here to help with anything that you might need. So that's the teacher part. You create your account. I'm just going to repeat the instructions quickly. You go to everfi.com/new teacher, create your account with your school account, with your school email, put in all the information. And then once you're in, you look for the Understanding Mental Wellness course, filter it out by topic. And then once you find it, you click on the button that says add to class, fill out all the information, and then very important, we want to make sure that we're clicking on the blue button to create the class. All right, so that's the teacher part, easy peasy. That should take 2 to 3 minutes. And now I'm going to help your students get started in their EverFi platform. All right, so now we're gonna, if your students are already started on the course, you're free to hop off. If not, please stay with me so I can guide them through this. So how do we start? If your students have access to single sign-on, remember this can be Clever or ClassLink. They're gonna go to that platform and then they're gonna look for our EverFi app. And the EverFi app is the same color as my background. It's a teal color. So first instruction, they're gonna go to Clever or ClassLink. After that, they're gonna look for the EverFi app. Once they find the EverFi app, we always recommend to heart it so it's in their favorites and they can access it next time in a quicker way. And then they click on the EverFi app. And if they haven't created their account, they're gonna click on the blue button that says create account. There, they're gonna find some very simple questions such as what's your age range? Or they might ask them to enter their birth date. And then they should be able to find their Understanding Mental Wellness course in their student platform. Of course, this is considering that teachers already had their account and assigned the course to them with their special Clever or ClassLink class ID. That's the way that they're going to find the course on their platform through SSO. Very important that teachers already have their account and already assign the course to students so they can find them. so they can find the course on the platform. All right, so that's with single sign-on. Very easy for teachers and for students to find the course. Now, this is a time where you can get started. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. Now, in the case that your students haven't not created their accounts yet and do not have single sign-on yet, no problem. What we're going to do is we're going to direct them to their browser. And in their browser, they're going to put everfi.com/student. So that's the very first step for students that do not have accounts yet and do not have access to single sign-on. So they're going to go to everfi.com/student. And there it's gonna ask them for that class code. So remember that I mentioned that when you create your class cohort, you fill out the information, you make sure you have your course. Once you create that, it's gonna give you a button, a blue button that says class code. That class code, that unique class code, is the one that you're gonna share with your students now in the case that they don't have single sign-on. So you share that class code with them. They're going to put it in, and then the platform is going to ask them to put in their information. So very important here, it is not necessary for them to put in their emails. They just need to put in their name, their last name, create a username, and create a password. Okay, so it's very important here that students create a unique username and password, and that they write it down. Please write it down so you don't forget it. So if you have a notebook next to you or a little piece of paper and a pencil, write down your username, write down your password, so you don't forget it for next time. All right, so you're gonna input your name, your last name. Emails are not necessary. You're going to create your username and you're going to create your password. Very important for the password, it needs to contain a capital letter, it needs to contain numbers, and it needs to contain a special character. All right. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, please let us know so we can help out. All right. So I'm going to repeat that again, because I know it's a lot of instructions for students that do not have an account yet. Remember, it's very important that for students to access a course is that teachers already have an account and already assign the course to them. So in the case of of students that do not have SSO, you're going to give them the class code. They're going to go to everfi.com/student, enter the class code. And then after they enter that class code, they're going to start putting in their information, first name and last name. Emails are not necessary. And then they're going to create their username and their password. Password must contain capital letter, numbers, and a special character. So once they do that, once they go through that process, they should be able to see the Understanding Mental Wellness course on their dashboard, because you already gave them that class code. And in the case of single sign-on, you already created the class with that special class ID. So that's the way that they will be able to access this course. So if you have any questions or need help, or maybe you need me to repeat instructions, please just let me know. All right, and then if students already created their account, they should see the course in there, and you can hit start and get started. Please use the chat if you have any questions regarding this process. If you're confused or if you need maybe one-on-one help, we're happy to help you. All right, and this is for teachers. If you need extra support in your teacher platform, you're going to be able to see that we have different support buttons. So on the top right corner, you're gonna find where that little earth icon is, you're gonna find the support button. So if you click there, you're gonna see the email of your regional support. So K to 12 East, if you're in the Eastern region, K to 12 South, and so on. So that email is one of our team members that is always there to answer your questions very quickly. So that's the best place to go if you're having any problems with the platform, if your students are not being able to find the course, if you can't find your course code, anything, absolutely anything that you need, just go to that support button, click on have a question, and then that email will take you to your email so you can write us and we can help you. All right. In the bottom left corner, you're going to see our resource center. There we have quick start guides that you can use and give it to your students or use for yourself or for any other teacher that needs it. And those guides give you the step-by-step process of how to get started, how to create your classes. And there's quick start guides for students too, so you can hand them off to them too. There's different videos and there's different resources that you can use if you need help. So that's your ongoing support, always available in your teacher platform. And also for educators, we have 40 plus courses on our platform. So you've been able to learn about Character Playbook and today with Understanding Mental Wellness, which is my favorite course. But there's other courses that are absolutely amazing. So you're going to find different courses on financial education, character education, where you're going to find Character Playbook. We have STEM and career readiness courses that are amazing. Health and wellness, where you're going to find our Understanding Mental Wellness course, early academic readiness, and history. So we have a big, wide catalog of courses available for everyone at no cost. So also, if you know other teachers that might be interested in using this, there's also a very nice button here on the top right corner under your teacher name, where you can invite other teachers that might benefit from these free resources. And if they get started, you will get a $15 Amazon gift card in your email. So we highly encourage you to invite other educators that might benefit from these resources. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know. We're happy to help. All right. So we're going to stay here a few minutes just to see if anyone has any questions, need any help with getting their classes started. All right, so I'm going to stay here for one more minute just to check. We're happy to help with anyone that needs help. I'm very excited that you're going to be able to get started with Understanding Mental Wellness. It is truly an amazing course, not only for young students, but I highly encourage anyone to take a look at it. It's really insightful and wonderful. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And again, if you have any questions, need help, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help. So happy Tuesday and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye. Thank you.